Alright, so today here we have the M2 Ultra. After 6 months of usage, why I make this review after 6 months is because every time there's a new Apple product, everyone jumps into it and starts making a review to be the first one. I personally believe that you should use a product for at least 4 to 6 months to make an honest review about it for the viewers. So I spent exactly 6 months using this product. Why I make it after 6 months so is I can share an honest review with you so you can decide if whether or not this product is for you or not. Before getting into it, I want to give credit to the Reddit community. The Mac Studio community on Reddit has been extremely helpful for me when I was deciding on which Mac should I buy. Should I go with M2 Ultra, M2 Max, or should I go with a Mac Mini? The community over there is just amazing. They're so helpful. Everyone responded to each of my posts. And that really helped me making a decision. And hopefully this video will help you making a decision. So let's get into that. The first thing I want to talk about is the design. The footprint of this machine is actually quite good compared to what it is. It's quite a beast, there's no doubt about it, but the space it takes is much smaller for what it is. If you're someone like me who has to have a workspace like a desk and a big monitor and all of that, you are kind of concerned about the space. This is perfectly designed for that kind of space. It doesn't take so much space on the desk. Really compact, really solid, really heavy as well. But there are some design flaws which we'll talk further in the video. So performance wise, this machine is top grade, depending on the specs as well and how you configure it. I got the 2TB and 64GB, but you can have 1TB hard drive or even 512MB if you want. But 512MB is not recommended. I'll talk to you about this in the next section of this video, which is the cons of why you should not get it. But more importantly, go with 1TB if you're choosing a Mac Studio. Before you go with it, think about it. Do you really need a Mac Studio, or can you go with a Mac Mini? I shared my softwares and apps that I use, which is DaVinci, all the Adobe softwares, and some Blender and Chrome. And with all of that, this works perfectly. But I'm sure that even a Mac Mini would have worked perfectly with this. When you're talking about editing software, if you're someone who does a lot of 8K editing or 6K video editing, you might still need this. A Mac Mini may not be able to handle that. But comparing this to that, it doesn't really stack up anything against this. And even though you can get an M2 Max chip on a MacBook Pro as well, or even have the exact same specs as this, but the performance will not be similar. And the reason is because this has been designed for performance. Now look at like how the architecture of this is, and this is all for like airflow, and this is all for air suction. Got so much space, and that really boosts the performance. Versus this is quite a thin machine, as you can see. So of course the architecture is very different, and of course the performance will be a bit different even if you get the same spec. You will not have portability if you have a Mac Studio. With a laptop you have a portability, but then the performance is a lot better when you go with a Mac Studio or a Mac Mini. Now some of the cons I want to talk about on this as well. Some of these cons are my personal experiences. I wish it was designed differently, but some of the cons are some things that I learned from Reddit and other platforms where people who have a Mac Studio were complaining about some of those things. So the first thing I want to talk about is a little bit of a design flaw, and I'm not sure why Apple didn't think about it. And that is that, as you can see, you've got all these holes over here, and these are made for air suction. That keeps the machine really cool, but because of the air suction, it also sucks a lot of dust. You can actually get a lot of dust gathered over here. Some people posted a picture in a Mac Studio where they had clogs of dust here. Once the dust is inside, there's no way to get it out because these are not designed to be open. So there's no way you can open this machine unless you want to pay $1,000 to Apple, and maybe they can open for you. But otherwise, there's no way you can open it, so all the dust will be gathered. So the way you can work around that is you have to make sure that you keep your space clean, especially the desk where you work. The second thing, which a lot of users talked about, is that we have got 2 of these USB-A ports. And some users have complained that some of the ports are not fully reliable. They are fluctuating, or some of them are not even working properly. I haven't had that problem, but a lot of users complain about it. The other thing is you order these things from Apple. The returns is quite a hassle. Make sure you get lucky and you don't get a flawed piece. The third thing which I want to talk about is about the hard drive. A lot of users who have compared between a 512MB and a 1TB, they say that apparently the 1TB SSD is a lot faster in performance. Not just that it is more storage, but it's also faster. So again, you are thinking on getting a 512MB, consider this as well, that a 1TB might be a little bit faster with read and write speeds. That's why I went with 2TB, but if I was saving some cash, I would have gone at least with 1TB of storage. Whether or not this machine is for you is your decision, but I think in most cases you'll be fine with a Mac Mini as well. It is quite a powerful machine. It is somewhere in between of a MacBook Pro and an M2 Studio. For me, I got this because I wanted this to last for many years, and I don't know, I might be doing 8K recording and 8K editing sometime in future. And if that happens, I needed a machine which is future-proof. It also racks up really well against a Mac Pro, which is the high-grade machine of Apple. The best and the top-notch machine Apple has ever made is the Mac Pro. And you can actually get a Mac Studio in the same, almost the same spec as a Mac Pro, which blows my mind because that's like such an expensive machine. And this is almost half the price of this, but you can still get this in the same spec. And the connectivity is amazing. Like, you've got all these Thunderbolt ports, you've got USB-A, you've got HDMI, and in the front you have these, which is also high speed, and then you've got an SD card slot. So this is a top grade, but not for everyone. If you are an average user like myself, you probably will be okay going with a Mac Mini. Maybe use that cash in upgrading your RAM. But then if you're thinking how I was thinking, that I wanted to get something that can last for me for many years, and maybe I can even do 8K on this, so then I went with this. From my experience, this has been an amazing machine. And it's extremely quiet actually. When you're doing a lot of really high intensity work, I've never heard the fan or anything. If you have any questions about it, just make sure you drop it in the comment section below. I'm happy to answer any questions. And if you want me to review any other products, just let me know in the comment section as well, because I buy all these products on my own expense. It's not sponsored by Apple or anything, which is why I can give a very, very honest review. So if you have any other product requests that you want me to review, let me know in the comment section below. I might buy it on my own expense and do a review for you. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I've got a lot of really good content coming up for photography and also tech products. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Until then, have a good day.